Live from Sydney, Australia on a glorious winter's evening, the semi-finals of the 2023 FIBA Women's Asia Cup are about to start. And coming up, it's a heavyweight showdown between world number 2 China and the host nation and world number 3 Australia. And the prize for the winner is a spot in tomorrow's gold medal game. Australia and China have a tremendous rivalry. 3 of the last 4 games played across the World Cup, the Olympics and Asia Cup have been decided by a single basket. We're glad you could join us for their next exciting chapter. Whether you're watching in Australia, China or elsewhere around the world, it's great to have your company. I'm John Casey and my co-commentator has played for Canada, coached Indonesia and been an assistant coach at the World Cup and Olympics for Australia. Laurie Chiswick, warm welcome to you. This should be a cracking contest.
Well, there is so much at stake for both these teams. They've, worked hard to get themselves in a place into the semi-final, and now to see them play, and they will want nothing but to be in that gold medal game tomorrow against Japan.
Results from earlier today with Korea defeating the Philippines, and just a short time ago, Japan moved through to the gold medal game with another impressive display against New Zealand, who will now play off for bronze. For China, undefeated in 3 games. But they did win their last game in overtime against Korea on Wednesday, some 72 hours ago. And they do bring the most dominant player in the tournament, Han Xu. He's averaging 22 points and 11 rebounds to lead both categories as well as blocks. And she's well supported by Li Meng, who's 3rd in scoring at 16 a game and 2nd in assists with 5 per game. And it's the dominance of those two up against Australia by committee. Australia does not have one score inside the top 12.
And that is the way that they are getting it done. But let's talk about China first. They bring such diversity to their team. They've got the height, they've got the speed, they've got the scoring power. I just need their guards to make sure that they're shooting some long-range shots, because right now they're only averaging 30% from the line.
That is a weakness. It's Zheng Wei, the coach, who was in charge here in Sydney 9 months ago when these teams played and when China won the silver medal. But for Australia, well, a 3-1 record. They won last night against Korea by 27 points. In fact, they haven't had a game decided by less than 25 here at the tournament. And when these teams met at the World Cup 9 months ago, it was a thriller. It was 61-59, both teams in front in the last 2 minutes. China have 8 players returning from that contest, Australia just 3.
Well, it's a completely different lineup for Australia. But one thing's for sure, they need to come out and play the same way they did against Korea. They were relentless in that pressure. They needed to make sure that they right from the start, right from the tip-off, they're on the ball, they're running, they're playing as a team, and that's the way they've got to come out against this mighty China team. Well,
Australia may have lost their last 4 to China, but they've won more quarters in those 4 games, if you can believe that. Their last win back in 2018 at the World Cup quarterfinals in Spain. Tess Madgen, the only survivor from that team. Shannon Seabohm, in his rookie campaign as Australian head coach, has done a terrific job. As we pause now for the official anthems.
Please remain upstanding for the national anthem of Australia.
Great crowd in attendance as well. Some 3,000. We've got a sellout tomorrow for the medal games, and for the Australian team, well, they've been excellent. The depth has really carried them well. Our international referees have done a terrific job as well right throughout the tournament. In fact, we've had just one player foul out so far out of the 18 games, or 17 previous to tonight. But in the 4 games for Australia, they've had a different lead scorer each time. And for China, well, it has been the dominance of Han Xu, who has led them in scoring and rebounding every single time. And she is the player that Australia must contain, Laurie, and force China to find another way to win.
Well, what a tantalizing matchup it is with her and Lauren Scherf, Scherfy's had some good games with us where she's a dominant scorer, rebounder, but the focus will be all on her and all on Han Xu to see how they go in that battle, that physicality.
Big shock is that China have made 2 changes to their starting 5, which they haven't altered in the tournament so far, apart from tonight. I'm surprised.
Well, they maybe want to just shake it up a little bit, and I know that Song Gu, she shot really well the other game, and whilst hasn't been as consistent, maybe that matchup is what they want, and they look at defensively and who Australia has.
Zhang Wei, head coach, and for the Australians, well, it's no surprise that they're going with the same 5 that they used last night, with Maddie Rocci running the point. She was outstanding, stepping into the starting 5 with Lauren Nicholson going to the bench, but the other 4 have started every game.
Well, they have, and I think that was a good switch up for Rocci to come into that starting lineup, because it freed up Tess Madgen to come to the 2 spot, and I think she arguably had her best game yesterday when she was in that 2 spot, and just was a bit more freer with her scoring, less pressure on her.
2 best rebounding teams in the competition as well, and second in scoring, Australia at 88, China third at 84. Confirmation of that starting 5 as you have it there. And really enjoyed the way that Shannon Seabohm has conducted this team, and particularly the bounce back from the loss against Japan.
And that was so much pressure on them yesterday, well, both teams, Korea and Australia, because the loser of that team does not get the opportunity to go to the qualifying tournament for the Olympics. So I think Australia, everybody could breathe a sigh of relief, the 4 teams that were in the top 4.
They're starting a bit bigger, so expect them to be real physical. Right, they'll go to the glass, we've got to block out. Right, again, defensively, right.
没有，这里拿了球，你稍微看一下，没有，这里是个双眼，对吧？完了你挂下去，这一下油也给，油也给，都没有，完了下来做掩护，完了你们往上跑，对吧？完了给他高送做这个掩护，完了上面做挡拆，就每一下都要有攻击性，完了回去防守，就是防3分为主，但是反击快攻的时候，就要对上人，有的时候可能对不上，要对不上，都防投篮，他要运起球来，他都是很坚决的，就做好1防1，对吧？开局了，
Interestingly, these teams played a warm-up game a week ago here in Sydney, and Australia won handsomely.
Go set up here for Alice. So she's now coming back here, right? So if we can't score, we'll come off that to get a shot. If Han now recovers, dive. You've got that little dump down, right? If we get downhill and get it, run it the next time and get the beer again, right?
Opals on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Might be a little bit of strategy from the Chinese team that now that Maddie Rocci's starting, and she certainly is one of the smaller players, if not the smallest player on the court, that they've chosen to go a little bit taller and maybe use that to their advantage and see if they can get some post-ups on her. We'll certainly see.
Australia will play for a medal for the 4th consecutive time here at the Asia Cup. Japan, the reigning 5-time champions, but prior to that run, China won 5 of the previous 6. So they are 2 of the most accomplished teams in Asia. And we are set to go from the State Sports Centre in Sydney on a massive night for a spot in the Women's Asia Cup final is up for grabs. From Sydney, Australia, it's the 2023 FIBA Women's Asia Cup semi-final. World number 3 Australia hosting world number 2 China, who've controlled the tip and have great support in the crowd as well. Patient to start with, shot clock to 8. Penetration came from Young Li Wei. Couldn't get it to go, but kept it alive. The long three wouldn't work either there for Garçon.
The Australians have to make sure they block out and not give them any second chance opportunities. A team of this caliber is bound to score if you give them too many chances.
Magin picks up the dribble. Looking inside for Scherf, not a lot on offer. Difficult pass, shot clock to red numbers. Garbin caught it deep. Scherf whistling off an opponent, and a foul is going to be called on China here. First of the game on Zhang Ru.
China, number 10. Zhang Ru, first.
So well done by Lauren Scherf here. Now you see the contact, and Scherf going down, and Darcy Garbin following her. Maddie Rocci to restart for Australia. Magin, nothing on offer, not in the air, and has travelled. Australia turn it over.
That was the defense of Li Meng. Just she was locking and trailing, was right with her, and as she caught it, you have to think shoot right away, but just the pressure caused her to turn it over.
Young Li Wei will bring China up the floor. The captain picks up the dribble. Garçon, Zhang Ru, Han Shu, back to Young Li Wei. Shot clock at 7. First touch here for Li Meng. She can't convert. So China, none of 3 from the field to get us underway, including none of 2 from long range. So healing out process as Magin penetrates. Tough shot. She was guarded well there by Zhang Ru, but eventually a whistle arrives, so free throws to come for Tess Magin.
That was a nice aggressive drive by Tess Magin there. She's doing that. She did that a lot against Korea, and she was able to get a shot up and draw that foul.
As you can see, Zhang Ru didn't like the call. It was a late whistle. Tess Magin, the captain of Australia, goes to the stripe. 7 of 9 at 78% in the tournament so far. She's left it short. Averaging 9 points a game, 7th in assists with 4 a game. And we still await the first points here. Played almost 90 seconds. And Tess Magin obliges. Australia in front here. Crowd almost sounding a pro-Chinese crowd in terms of the numbers. Han Shu guarded by Scherf. Shares it with Garçon. Shot clock to single digits. Young Li Wei pulls up for the jumper. It's off the mark. So shooting woes continue. None of 4 now for China. Rocci heading in the Scherf direction. And she draws a foul as well. And she will go to the free throw line. So that's 3 team fouls now on China here inside 2 minutes.
Well, that clearly looks like an identified area that the Australian team want to do, is to penetrate and test the defense, test the one-on-one defense of the Chinese players. See if they've got the foot speed to match them.
Maddie Rocci really done well this tournament. She's 12 of 14 from the free throw line at 86%. It's almost a coming of age for her. She's playing more minutes than any other player for Australia, which I don't think we anticipated coming in. So she makes both, and Australia lead by 3. Young Li Wei brings China back up the floor. None of 4 from the field, China so far. They need a high percentage play at the moment. They're unable to get Han Shu into the action, and she's well up the mark with her first attempt. What's kept alive there, Young Li Wei couldn't make the layup fit either. So still looking for their first points after more than 2 minutes, and it's been a nervous start by world number 2 China. A chance for Garbin, baseline. Nothing on offer. Scherf fires the 3. It's deep. And it will trickle out of court, and China will get it back.
Wow, other than foul shots, 3 points on foul shots, neither team have been able to steady into any rhythm whatsoever offensively. Defense is doing a good job from both teams, and it'll be interesting to see which team can sort of relax and get into their flow.
Garbin. All over Garçon there, the handover, and first foul's going to be called on Australia's Alice Kunik. She impeded the progress there of Li Meng.
That's another great matchup to watch, the two of them, quality players. Li Meng, just a superstar in global basketball, and she can score from either inside or outside. She can just impose herself on a game.
And I'm sure she will at some stage. 2.5 minutes played, opening quarter action. Semi-finals, spot in the gold medal game of the Women's Asia Cup up for grabs. Han Shu, this time reluctant to fire after her first attempt was way off. Young-Li Wei, no room down there for her. Gao Son penetrates, soft touch, wouldn't work. Han Shu, the offensive rebound, but in traffic. They did a good job to force her away from the rack. So China now none of 6 from the field. In fact, make that none of 7. Imagine, shot clock at 10. Scherf available, goes back to her now. Puts it on the deck. Takes on Han Shu, never looked likely. Han Shu releases the ball. Young-Li Wei wants to get up the floor quickly. Zhang Ru in support, posting up Rochi in a mismatch, but they couldn't find a passing lane. Well done, Maddie Rochi. And that looked like an offensive foul, and it's been called that way. Rochi, standing her ground, has drawn an offensive foul. It's going to be called here on Zhang Ru. That is the 4th team foul on China in this opening quarter. We've played less than 4 minutes.
Well, that's what Maddie Rochi is known for her pesky, relentless defense and guarding a bigger player. She worked really hard to try and get in front, and the referees just found that it was a foul to be called.
Zhang Ru was one of the players who brought into the starting 5. She's picked up 3 fouls, and now she's sitting down. We're seeing Wang Siyu on the floor quickly as well for China here. She'd started every game and run the point for them up until this game, and they elected to put her on the bench, and it hasn't worked for them as Rochi's up and under. Didn't find the target. Wang Siyu, penetration is good. Couldn't finish it though, so the shooting woes continue here. None of 9 now for China, yet to score. Almost 4 minutes played. Imagine. Guarded by Gao Son. Now draws Han Shu out beyond her comfort range. Comes up with the goods. Australia get the first field goal of the game and lead by 5. The longer this drought goes for China, the more anxious they'll become. Yet to score in the game. And a travelling violation is called on Gao Song. They turn it over for the 2nd time.
Well, that's the immense pressure that Darcy Garvin is putting on her. But let's have a look at this drive from Tess Madgen. She put that ball on the floor aggressively.
China, none of 9. Australia, 1 of 5. That have been to the free throw line 4 times already as Rochi feeds Kunick. Wants to go quickly. It's off the mark. There are some nerves out there. And a quick outlet pass will get China their first points. It's taken 4.5 minutes, but China finally score.
And what a way to get your first points on a break like that. A rebound, an outlet pass, and a running player.
Garvin for Rochi. Gets down low. Did all the hard work. Couldn't find the finish. Chance now. Wang Siyu. Penetration is good there from Li Meng, and she draws a foul. Free throws to come.
That's the exact style of game that China want to play. They want to get out and they want to run. You can see that. What a pass that is. Great finish by Lao Sinyu.
So 12 of 15 from the free throw line at the tournament at 8%. Li Meng gets there more than any other player for China. High of 26 points, 8 rebounds and 7 assists, and near triple-double in the overtime win against Korea on Wednesday night. She makes both to close the margin. After Australia had scored the first 5, China got back-to-back baskets. Kunick for Madgen. Inside 5 minutes remaining, opening quarter. Well, the pass for Scherf was off the mark. And Australia turn it over for the 2nd time in the game.
Just didn't quite have the right angle pass there to get it into Scherf. Needed to take maybe 1 more dribble, and Scherf really needed to hold that seal.
So China, after a slow start, have grabbed some momentum here. And it's all coincided with Wang Siyu carrying the ball, checking into the game. Han Shu Low catch for Galson, back outside. 1CU off the front of the rim. Australia running. Rochi to Kunik. Kiwi is open. Wants to slow it down. Finds Magin. Around the perimeter, Garvin to Rochi. Scherf back to the captain. Shot clock to 10. Magin picks up the dribble. Rochi. Shot clock to red numbers for penetration. She's rejected. Great defensive play from Han Shu, who leads the competition in block shots, unsurprisingly.
The crowd love that. Her teammates love that. Maybe that'll just give them that little bit of momentum swing to go into China's way.
Rochi for Garvin. Catch and shoot off the inbound play. It rattles around the rim and tumbles with a user-friendly roll. Li Meng goes on with a dribble, took on Garvin, and she was shut down. So a chance for the Opals to extend a three-point buffer. Garvin started it with a pass, cut out by Li Meng. Read it nicely. And now they've got a chance with 1CU handing over. Couldn't finish it, Luau Xinyu, but she's being fouled. Free throws to come.
As I said in the past, that's the tempo that they want to play from. They want to rebound and run, get players up the floor, attack the defense. Australia's got to try and somehow think of a way to slow the ball down a little bit.
Magin picks up the foul. Annalie Maley checks into the game. First trip to the free throw line in the tournament here for Luau. And looked very efficient at it as well. So back to a one-point ball game after Australia led 5-0. Shyla Hill checks into the game, leading Rochi. And will do the ball carrying duties. Scherf for Magin. Guarded by Li Meng. Here's Maley. Now Hill, top of the key. Decides to fire. Caught it deep. Li Meng with the rebound. Picks up the dribble, looks for Han Shu. In traffic against Scherf. Didn't appear to be a lot of contact there, but the foul is called on Lauren Scherf. Han Shu is going to the free throw line, looking to come up with her first points in the game.
Again, another transition type basket, and Han Shu just running down the floor, point of the rim there, and whilst Scherf was there, just not quite in position, and really good decision to pass it into her.
First miss from the free throw line at the tournament for Han Shu. They're all feeling the nerves here. China are 1 of 12 from the field, and Australia are 2 of 10. Makes the adjustment, and we are back on level terms here. A little over 3 minutes out from quarter time. Australia scored the first 5. Hill got it back from Scherf and decides to go in her direction once more. That's well off the mark. 1CU with the rebound. Australia none of 4 from long range. And 1CU wants to go on with the dribble. Puts China in front for the first time.
That is an experienced play from Wang Suyu. One player in front. She had her feet set. Just a little wheel and deal around her and hard at it. Eyes on that target. Great finish.
Timeout Australia. China reel off a 9-2 run. And Wang Suyu, as soon as she stepped on the floor, she's had an influence. And Australia at their hands full.
Right, there's 14 seconds on the shot clock. Play. If you get it on the flare, right, go into a 2-man game. Han in that side ball screen, she's in the drop, then you'll get it on the next one. Right, but we're all just playing anxious right now. Right? We're strong, right? Because they're switching everything with Darcy, let's go like this, right? So next one, go throw it ahead, go to this corner, right? Darcy comes set the screen, Scherfy step out here, right? And then the other wing there, come off, right? Roll. Now there's no triple switch, right? So if they switch with the guard, whatever, throw it back here, then go in. And then Scherf, dive, right? Or screen that person, and that person lift, right? Hey, we're fine. Just calm down on offense.
Opals on 3, 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
So Shannon Seabaugh makes a really good point. They are playing too quick for them. They're a little bit anxious. But that's the result of China and the speed that they're playing at. They're getting it and running and attacking. And so when Australia have the ball, they're feeling that speed and that intensity.
Unlikely scoreline, 9-7 China. We're on a 9-2 run at the moment. Australia scored the first 5 points of the game as we move inside the last 3 minutes of an opening quarter where we are a combined 0 of 8 from three-point territory. Australia came into the game shooting at 40% from deep. This is Garvin, baseline. It rattles around the rim for her, and Darcy Garvin adds another 2. For 1CU, uses Li Meng. Can't shoot, top of the key. Scherf gave us some latitude initially. Now 1CU gets it back, harassed by Hill, wants to go on with the dribble, found a way to the baseline, and came up with the goods as well.
She's really starting to have an influence in carving our guards up right now, Wang Suyu.
Magic for Meili. Offense just not working as smoothly as Australia would like at the moment. 3 of 12 from the field, at 25%. Scherf gets a high percentage look and comes up with her first point.
She did a good job. She stayed nice and poised on that move. Know where to pass it to, so she took her scoring option, and well done.
11 apiece inside the last 2 minutes. Li Meng fires, and it's all the bottom of the net.
We've seen her do that over and over. Just come off that little screen, feet set, and put it up straight away. Lovely shot that Li Meng has.
First three-pointer of the game after 8 straight misses. Heel, shot clock at 10. Guarded by 1CU. Wants a screen from Scherf, can't get one for the moment. Now she does. Poor pass, it was telegraphed. Picked off here, chance for Pan Zhongxi, and she rushes to the other end of the floor to give China a 5-point edge. The Australians are now not their problems at the offensive end, as you can see. Heel eventually gets it to Scherf, but they need a high percentage play. And they'll go to the captain, Tess Madgen. Puts it on the deck, nothing on offer initially. This is Garvin. She too looks for the penetration. Nice pass, got it to Scherf, but she overcooked it off the window. And a jump ball forced by Anneli Meili, and the Opals will get it back. See, Pan Zhongxi, she was another of the regular starters who came off the bench here in this game, and she's had an immediate influence as well. Trolling onto the floor for the first time to try and provide some offense. She leads this team in scoring at 11 per game. Goes to work straight away but can't convert. 1CU grabs the rebound. Did a good job on the board so far. China, she's lost a handle, whistle on the play. Free throws to come now for China with Australia over the limit. Foul's going to be called on Anneli Meili, her first personal. 1CU.
They need to find somebody out there that can really put the clamps on her, because she's not only finding her own space in there, but she's pushing it and looking for her teammates. And maybe that's a Lauren Nicholson. We know what a great elite defender she is.
Allowing a perfect 3 of 3 from the stripe coming into this game. That's no mistake. And all of a sudden, it's a 7-point buffer. After Australia scored the first 5 of the game, it's now 18-11 China. Shot clock 11 seconds inside the game clock as we head toward quarter time. Garvin, the only starter on the floor here for Australia. So they've certainly changed up what they were planning. This is in the usual case. Here's Hill reaching in from behind. 1CU deflected the ball. Australia have lost it again. Although the pass for 1CU did her no favours, and Australia charged back here with a 4-on-3 fast break. Nicholson wide open. Couldn't convert. And Australia now none of 5 from long range. Right on quarter time. So after a slow start, China warm to the occasion. And they will go in at quarter time with a healthy 7-point edge. Quarter time in Sydney, it's China 18, Australia 11. Wow. Terrific fight back after Australia made the early running. What have you made of it so far, Laurie?
There was very little scoring in probably the first 3 minutes of the game. Both teams looked a bit nervous other than a few foul shots out there. I feel like certainly China have settled into the pace of this game and have dictated what they want to do. They've been doing a really good job of rebounding and running and finishing. And you know, this was the early time on when Tess Madgen took it hard to the basket and finished really strongly. But we haven't seen a lot of that as China has adjusted what they're doing defensively.
Just not working offensively for the Australians the way they would like it at the moment. Shooting the ball just 4 of 16 from the field.
And Han Xu is just being a shot blocker in the middle there. She's being a presence. She hasn't scored a lot, but just the fact she's on the court makes her so hard, makes everything else so difficult, the penetrations for the Australian team. Darcy Garbin's had a couple of nice looks out there, which she's finished off. But again, that telepathing, the pass, and that just results in an automatic 2, which really boosts your team. The Australian team need to make sure they keep their spacing. There's been a few times where a player's gone to penetrate and a player's cut into their space and brought their defender. So they need to keep that spacing, maintain their spacing.
So you can scan that QR on your screen and download the Courtside 1891 from the App Store or Google Play and watch every game here live. Keep up to date with all the latest news and enjoy the stats you need as well, not just from this tournament, from every FIBA tournament around the world. After a slow start, China warming to the occasion. Both teams, though, struggling in terms of their shooting. It's 7 of 8 from the free throw line for China that got them back into the game.
You could just see Wang Suyu just controlling the tempo.
Li Meng couldn't convert, gets her own rebound. That was ambitious. Never looked likely. So a chance for the Opals here. Good scoring underway in the second quarter. Nicholson is patient with it. Uses Garbin. Top of the key. Now Koenig. Froling looking to post up down low. Nothing on offer. Rochi, shot clock to red numbers. Wanted Froling. Good D again from China, denying Australia what they wanted. They force it out of court, and the Opals have got 1.5 on the shot clock. China want to bring Young Li Wei back into the game. She'll replace Li Meng.
Maddie Rochi had a chance for a pull-up there rather than going into the tall timber of the Chinese team.
Here's Froling, turnaround with no time on the shot clock. Had to get rid of it quickly. Wang Suyu grabs the rebound. 4th rebound for her to go with 4 assists and 6 points after coming off the bench. Now, 3-second violation has been called on China here. Hung Yu taking too long in the keyway. That's the first 3-second call I've seen the entire tournament. We're at game 18, only 2 remaining after this one for the medals. Froling open. But reluctant, a little bit gun shy here at the moment, the Opals, because they're 4 of 17 from the field. Koenig rushes down low and comes up with her first score in the game.
She just tucked that ball under her arms and went strongly to the basket. Great aggressive drive by Alice Koenig.
Hung Yu once more takes on Froling, who did an excellent job to keep her at bay.
You have to love how Keely Froling plays. She's undersized, but she never backs down to anybody.
Koenig found an opening, takes them on high off the window. That's an excellent finish. Back-to-back baskets from Australia here in the first 90 seconds of term number 2, and China need timeout. Alice Koenig making things happen.
It's a good timeout. She just needs to settle her chargers. Let's have a listen.
完了续下去，啊，打5，对吧？刚才就没打到，这里没有，再往这边转啊！哎，防特点防右手啊，不要忘记啊，注意力集中，要专注一点啊。那个谁的球权？我们球权就打1中5啊，就打1中5。没有机会往下循环打到底啊，打到底啊，不要就变了啊，就是先拿内线杀伤，出发。停歌，继续。
Huge Huge crowd in attendance here at Sydney Olympic Park. This venue was opened back in 1984 and has been home to many great events, including last year's Women's World Cup basketball. And in fact, we saw Lauren Burns in a taekwondo Olympic gold medal here for Australia back in 2000. The picture hangs proudly here at the stadium. And the Australians at the moment, what can they do, Laurie Chiswick?
Well, I think they can do just what they've done since the quarter time, and the likes of Alice Kunit driving it hard to the basket and not taking a backward step at all. Keely Frawling being strong on those boards, and I like the matchup of Maddie Rocci and Wung Soo Yu, because with the other guard she was able to have her way, and we'll see if Maddie Rocci can contain her, but she is quality.
Here it is on cue. Wung Soo Yu. Rocci got a piece of the action. Top 3 in the tournament in steals and had 5 against Korea last night. They double teamed Han Shu there, but they did it illegally. Foul is going to be called on Australia.
Well, you can see on the flight of the ball, as it was going to Han Shu, on the flight of the ball, look at that rush in by Alice Kunit, the double, the triple. Darcy Garbin was there as well. Just fouled.
Foul's on Frawling, her first personal. They are following that idea of trying to stop Han Shu, and someone else has to beat them, and Young Li Wei's keen to do that.
Well, at quarter time, China was only shooting the 3 ball at 20%, but they found some other ways to score.
Kunit with it now. Good screen from Frawling, who rolls to the hoop. Garbin, nothing on offer down low. Kunit decides to fire the 3 and gets Australia's first triple of the game after they missed their opening 5.
Good decision. Han Shu was reluctant to come out any further, and Alice recognized that and put a nice shot up.
Han Shu, top of the key, shares it now. The danger player, Wung Soo Yu fires. Couldn't get it to go. Frawling had the rebound. And whistle on the play. Foul's going to be called on China here. It's on Han as you watch Young Li Wei go to work, and Alice Kunit has been excellent in this quarter. 7 points, all of Australia's score since quarter time. The first foul on Pan. One team foul each in this quarter, and Rocci finds an opening and puts Australia back on level terms.
Maddie Rocci has grown and grown with each game that she's played in the Australian singlet.
Wung Soo Yu, rid of Rocci, shot clock to single numbers as she goes to Young Li Wei. Han Shu with a good steal on Frawling. They couldn't find a passing lane to her. A credit to the Australian D, but Darcy Garbin just overstepping the mark there has picked up her second personal. This is Maddie Rocci, that quick first step.
Well, and no fear going in and laying that up under the long reach of Han Shu.
Just 2 points for China and 3 minutes of action here in this second quarter. They're 1 of 5 from the field. Well done, Rocci again to deflect the ball. Wung Soo Yu got it back though. Couldn't convert, and well done Garbin to stand her ground against multiple opponents. Rocci, good screen from Kunit. Foul is going to be called on Wung Soo Yu, her first personal. Going to sit down, replaced here by Li Yuan. Second team foul on China in this quarter. And Li Yuan's been good so far. She actually leads the tournament in assists, and this is the first we've seen of her, averaging 9 points, 6 assists. She is a very accomplished player, but Alice Kunit's been great here in this second quarter. She's feeling confident, takes on Han Shu, got beyond her, just couldn't find the target, and Australia will get this back here.
Well, now China need to find an answer to Alice Kunit, the way she's been 3 over Han Shu.
Li Mun checking back into the game, replacing Jin Weina.
And that's exactly who will be guarding her.
Rocci, inbound pass, missed Frawling, off and running. Young Li Wei, Nicholson to beat, good defender. Talked her out of the points, and Garbin snatches the rebound. Australia wanting to push the tempo here. Rocci charges up the floor. Garbin, Nicholson. Almost 4 minutes played in the second as the shot clock rolls to 10. Koenig, wraparound play, Froling, can't convert. And China grabbed the loose ball. Young Li Wei against Rochi. Found a way pass, rolling to the hoop. Han Shu, but she couldn't convert it initially. Goes back to work, gets it done, charges over the top of Froling. Chance at a three-point play.
That was great team basketball from China. I love how she just tossed it up in the air. She couldn't quite finish, kept at her own rebound, and Keely Froling just couldn't match her in that height department whatsoever.
2 quick fouls on Keely Froling, so she'll have to sit down. Lauren Scherf comes back. Darcy Garvin also has 2 fouls. And Zhang Ru for China picked up 3 fouls in the opening quarter, and we may not see her again until the second half. Rebound counts 17-16 in favour of Australia. It's tight across the board. China by 2. Middle stages of the second. Rochi for Nicholson. In traffic, needs help. Nicholson is there. Shot clock to red numbers for the Opals. Rochi, Scherf rolling. Nice pass. Threaded the needle, but Scherf overcooked it. Just 1 of 6 from the field. Lauren Scherf has got her problems at the moment. Young Li Wei against Nicholson. Kicks the ball. Li Yuan on against Rochi. Nothing on offer initially. Decides to fire now. That was a good option.
That's what China need. They need their guards doing something from the three-point line, stretching the defense. And here we see Alice Koenig.
Garvin for a 2. Overcooked at Scherf. The offensive rebound, but again, under pressure from Han Shu is such a presence inside the paint there. 205 centimetres. Li Yuan here calmly iced that after she'd lost the handle initially. So Lauren Scherf at 195, giving away 10 centimetres to her opponent. Now Froling's back on the floor, playing with those 2 fouls. Li Yuan, a good penetration. Well, the pass was just too good for Pun. She couldn't control it. A loose ball. Foul called on China. Second personal for Pun. 3rd team foul in this quarter. Rochi sits down, replaced by Shyla Hill.
It is really physical out there, John. It's not just under the basket where the physicality is. Coming off screens, it's setting screens, it's getting through.
Froling, Koenig, Garvin, good seal down low from close range. Darcy Garvin now has 6 in the game.
Great finish, but even a better pass by Alice Koenig to get her open, get the ball right in the right spot.
Young Li Wei against Madgen as the 2 captains eyeball one another. Han Shu peels off the triple. First 3 of the game for her. And the margin is at 6. We started this quarter at 7. Australia got it back to 2, but now China have answered. Garvin baseline, under pressure taking the shot, and well done Froling to win that back for Australia against Han Shu. Here's Garvin with that good seal, and as Laurie Chiswick suggested, the great pass inside as well. Han Shu, she can beat you from outside as well as near.
Unbelievable, a player of her size and just her three-point range.
Whistle off the ball here. And so the clock may not have restarted. Just adjusting the shot clock here. Sorted that to 11. Alice Koenig right in front of our commentary position, just with some running repairs on the footwear as well.
11 seconds on the shot clock.
What an arm wrestle this has been, and it's high stakes. Spot in the gold medal game up for grabs. As Maylee, Madgen beckons Froling toward her. And now works to an opening, but short-armed at loose ball. It came to Han Shu. Li Yuan was quickly up the floor. Li Meng looking in that direction now, but uses Han Shu against Koenig. Big contact, no whistle. Li Meng goes on with it, comes up with the goods.
Just a nice little inside-out shimmy move by Li Meng and found herself a wide-open lane to the basket.
So China have opened up an 8-point advantage now. Biggest lead we've seen at any stage after they were challenged by Australia. They've reeled off a 10-2 run.
Yeah, my bad. Good job, guys. Keep going, keep going.
Right, remember with that stuff in the middle with the gets type actions, right? We're chasing over 9, so Keels, remember you got to be off a little bit more, right? So now if she does come downhill, you've got to help protect, and then people behind, we've got to shift over, right? So even as the ball moves, we keep moving every time, right?
Keels, I'll be louder, but I can tell you that I have your back.
Hey, let's go like the horns flare again, right? Just go out there, Keely, go Tess, go Melee there, Shy, right? So throw it, get it back. Right, flare, if we get that, great. You've got downhill drive, shot or ball screen. Now, if you can't throw it, keep the ball. Keely, come and ball screen, and then go and veer screen for Madge, right? So when the big girl's here, you can now create off a try, or Madge is coming out of the corner, right?
We need stop! We need stop! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Plenty of energy about the Opals at the moment, despite the fact that China has grabbed the momentum in after scores were 20-all.
Well, it was a timeout where I liked how he addressed what they needed to do defensively, just a couple of reminders of what their scouts are and how they play, and then to set up a play that we'll hopefully see here on offense.
Pressure up the floor from China as well. Li Yuan. Big screen from Froling, who's called for the offensive foul. That's going to be her third personal. It was heavy contact. Well, I thought she had established position right in front of the referee, who had a better view than me. Well, that's a huge call in the context of the game, with Australia's leading scorer now with 3 fouls and off to the bench. Lauren Scherf checks back in, but she's had her issues. 1 of 7 from the field. And Keely Froling a little disappointed with the call. She appeared to have position, but that's not the way the referee saw it. It's a 4th team foul on Australia in this quarter as well, so they can't afford to foul again. Han Shu, 5 on the shot clock, needs to get busy. Young Li Wei, the captain, fires, couldn't get it to go. Well done, Meili. Good contest there with Pan. And Australia will win it. China with a foot on the line in possession right in front of their bench.
China are playing with high IQ right now, reading what the defense is giving them. If they're going under a screen or if they're re-screen, whatever they're doing, they're reading it really well.
Hill gets it back from Koenig. Plenty of action. Koenig almost was open. No passing lane to find her though. Now Heel against Li Yuan is a tremendous defender. Heel takes her on, dances into the paint. Here's Scherf, forced to shoot quickly, comes up with the goods. Much needed bucket for the Opals. A little over 2 minutes out from half-time. Li Meng shakes Madgen, now with Meili to contend with, muscles her way down low, draws the double team. Pun the finishing touches. Han Shu, the offensive rebound and the putback.
That's basically the triple threat, isn't it? Li Meng driving, trying to get a post position, kicking it outside, shot, rebound, finish.
Zhuhan had 1 point at quarter time. She's up to 6 with 8 rebounds as Shyla Hill gets the job done for her first points. China looking a little more efficient at the moment. Li Yuan shakes Hill. Young Li Wei fires over Scherf. Tough shot. Ill-advised, perhaps. And Shyla Hill brings Australia forward. Meili goes back to her. Well, Scherf wrestling with Pan. Offensive foul called on Lauren Scherf. It's her second personal. Pan Zhenxi was very strong in the low block. Here it is in replay.
Well, I'm not sure about that call, only because it hasn't been called so far, and it's been physical out there, and players have been working hard to get front position, to get around.
So Li Meng, China across halfway. Li Yuan, who's slow to get into the game. Since she's been on the floor, she's looked lively. Well done, Meili. Got a deflection there when Li Meng was working back door for the layup. So 7 on the shot clock here for China. Fun to restart. Han Shu, Li Yuan. 3 on the shot clock. They wanted Li Meng involved. She overcooked the 3 though, and shot clock expires in the background. Australia has possession and they're running. Hill open, top of the key.
That's what she likes to do. She likes to come down and stop and prop in transition, and she is good at that and should do that.
Margin cut to 3 here. Heading toward halftime, shot clock to 10. Pan puts it on the deck, muscles away and close, couldn't finish it. Gets her own rebound. Guarded by Hill, almost stripped her of it. And now travelling violation, tremendous defensive pressure from Shyla Hill. But here's Shyla Hill knocking down the 3, and Australia needed that, just their 2nd triple of the game.
Hill's put in some good minutes since she's come on the floor at both ends of the court.
The 6th turnover for China. Australia has 8 in that category. Haven't been happy with the 20 turnovers they had last night against Korea. It was the only blemish on what was an outstanding game. And the shot clock here, 5 seconds inside the game clock. Koenig for 3. Scores level, 16 seconds on the clock here in halftime. Terrific fight back from Australia. They were down 8 with 3 minutes to play and have outscored their opponents here 10-2 after it had been 10-2 the other way in favour of China prior to this run. And Alice Koenig now into double figures. She has all 10 in this quarter out of the 21 Australia has come up with.
李梦，你站这边，啊，你站这儿，你站这儿，完了你去给他做掩护，我们打失踪，啊，打失踪，完了你去给他做掩护，知道吧？金维娜就出来了，完了里边把球给他，知道吧？完了，旭旭这个时候你才，他往这儿给他的时候你才往上跑，啊，你才往上跑，跑来完了他再来做掩护，这个掩护做好进去，啊，直接打篮下，啊，直接打篮下，啊。
还有一次犯规机会可以给啊 ！To give no free throws， 而且不是法兰，我们只有30犯规啊。
Well, they've done a good job of that so far in this quarter. Australia has not been to the free throw line in this quarter, but they are 3 of 3 from deep after they were none of 5 at quarter time. So when it looked as though China were about to run away with this at 30-22, 3 minutes left on the clock on a 10-2 run, Australia had to find something, and they have, and Alice Koenig has led that charge. Averaging 9 points a game, Alice Koenig so far. High score is 11 against Japan on Wednesday night. She's been in double figures 3 of the 4 games. So the last play of the first half, seesawing affair. Li Yuan hands over. Jin Weina, guarded by Magid. Shot clock to red numbers. Needs to get busy. Good defense from the Australian captain. Han Shu. Finishing touches on the buzzer. What a play from China. They grabbed the lead right on the halftime buzzer. It was well prepared. And Han Shu, who was slow with just 1 point in the opening quarter, now has 11, including 10 in this term to match Alice Koenig, and that was nice. Half-time here in Sydney, it's China 35, Australia 32. It's always great to finish on a high note, Laurie, and that was certainly that for China.
Well, it couldn't get much better than that. You didn't know whether she was going to roll and be an inside presence. But instead, Lauren Scherf had to step off just a little bit to help, and it was just that little bit of spacing that left her wide open for that three-point shot. Whew, what a way to finish for China.
Well, this has been wild fluctuations here. But right now at halftime, as you can see, it is very tight, as it is most times these teams play. I remind you, three of the last 4 games between these teams have been decided by a single bucket. It's always entertaining, Laurie.
Well, and we just saw with those stats too, 4 turnovers for China, 2 for Australia. Both teams are taking care of the ball really well, and it is high quality, physical, fast women's basketball.
So Koenig scored 10 of Australia's 21 in that second quarter. He did it from inside and outside. Now she is knocking down the 3 ball.
Well, she sees when her opponent in Honshu just has stepped off and sagged off a little bit, and Alice Koenig can shoot the ball, but Maddie Rotche, hasn't she been impressive? She's gone to the basket herself, no fear whatsoever. She's controlled the tempo of the game, and I think she's played some really good defense as well.
This was Li Yuan filling up the 3. She's had an impact as well coming off the bench. Leads the tournament in assists. And the final play, but it's earlier in the quarter. Xu Han, she's now 2 of 3 from deep. And at halftime, China with the edge. But plenty still to come here. Spot in the gold medal game up for grabs. Shyla Hill heads to halftime with 5 points to her name. And this was the last play. Xu Han, dominant player of this tournament, is auditioning well for MVP honours, and she has helped China to a 3-point buffer. Halftime at the State Sports Centre in Sydney in the semi-final of the Women's Asia Cup 2023. The scoreline is China 35, Australia 32. We'll have more for you in just a moment.
You need character. You need chemistry.
FIBA Basketball World Cup is the peak of the game.
It's the toughest competition in the basketball world to win.
That is why I will be there.
Because when you win for one,
You win for all.
Nice help, pun. Penetration, the spin was good, finish even better. One of the best plays we've seen from her in this game. This time they're patient with it. Shot clock at 10. She fires, and she's knocked down another. Incredible shooting display from Mai Yamamoto, who's now 4 of 6 from long range. Koenig exploring. Nicholson pass down low. Garvin working backdoor, adds another 2.
Basketball in front of your eyes in the Women's Asia Cup. Oh, Mong Lee, the backwards pass to Han.
Well, we said before the game she was a massive difference maker, and she has that little bit extra that not every player has. The ability to create for herself and her teammates.
Anima, Bernardino Castillo from 3 for some space, and the air one. That's a big basket for the Philippines.
Oh.
And then Tamilo again sends it back to New Zealand with that swat. She's feeling it. Victoria Tamilo says no.
Kang again puts it on the floor, attacks the space, goes upstairs to Park.
That's that pass you talk about with a big, get it up in the air, let her bring it in. Big smiles on their face, and you don't see that often from the Korean players. It's nice to see.
Deji Walker hesitates, needs a pass, finds a pass, Beck attacks it, drops it inside, Davidson is blocked, doesn't get the roll, and Korea will get the rebound, and they get it back, and Davison puts down the 2.
10 seconds left now, or just under 10 seconds now for Lebanon. Harkle just puts up a prayer. Oh my goodness! Rebecca Harkle points to her head. It's all about mindset here for Lebanon. They are right in this game. Ron Lee puts the Jets on. Oh, how did she do that? Ron Lee just parted the seas.
There's your highlight. That's just a super duper move.
Welcome back to the State Sports Centre in Sydney. In less than 24 hours from now, we'll be playing off for the gold medal at the 2023 FIBA Women's Asia Cup. Right now, China smiling. They're on top at half-time, leading 35-32. Han had 10 of her 11 points in that second quarter. Right now, the tournament's dominant player has 11 points and 9 rebounds. And if she finishes with 22 and 18, China are going to win this. Australia must find a way. They did it well in the opening quarter. They denied her the ball. She had just 1 point in the opening quarter. But then she was able to impose herself on the game. And at 205 centimetres, she is imposing, and she's terrific to watch, Laura Chiswick.
She hasn't been exactly imposing herself inside, because 6 of those points are from 2 threes that she shot on the, trailing 3. And so they've done a good job. I think what they need to continue to do is try to stem the flow of passes into her. So that means that pressure on that perimeter person so they can't make an easy lob pass. give a chance for the likes of Lauren Scherf, Kaylee Frawling, whoever, to try and get in front and try and get some help if that pass does come in.
Well, Australia yet to reappear. Not too far away. In fact, as I speak, they start to make their way back out onto the floor. So China out here early pre-game as well. A good 15 minutes before the Australian Openers came out. They're out here early at halftime as well. Shyla Hill has 5 points on 2 of 3 shooting. Picked up a couple of assists as well. In fact, she's the only Opal with multiple assists. Alex Koenig had her 10 points all in that second quarter. While Lauren Scherf has been good on the boards with 5, she's 2 of 8 from the field. Admittedly, mitigating circumstances in the sense that on occasion the ball's got to her late. She's been confronted by a player 10 centimetres higher, taller, who had good position. But they need to find some way of producing points inside, whether it's by attacking and forcing their way in or lobbing the ball down low. But right now, this is a great arm wrestle.
Well, it is an arm wrestle, and it's reflected in the score. But the other thing is that there's not one player on either team that is absolutely dominated. So yes, Honshu has 11 points. Alice Koenig for Australia has 10 points. But other than that, it's very evenly spread amongst players. So that means there's some good defense being played all around. You know, they're strategically looking at their matchups all the time. The different coaches, they're making subs to adjust accordingly. And so it'll be interesting to see if anybody on either team can break loose.
Maddie Rocci with 4 points, 2 in each of the first 2 quarters. Averages 10 points, 5 assists to be top 5 in the tournament there in that category. China will be feeling good about themselves. Australia went on an 8-0 run to tie it away at 32, and then a big 3 from Honshu right on the halftime buzzer was able to get them back out in front. They led by as many as 7 in the opening quarter and by 8 in the second. Quite a shock at the start of the game when China made 2 changes to the starting 5 that had served them so well through the first 3 games, and it didn't work. It backfired because Australia scored the first 5 points of the game, and they were forced, the coach Zhang Wei was forced to bring Wang Siyu and Pan into the game, and both of them had an immediate impact.
They did, and for a while there we were having trouble. The Australian team was having trouble defending Wang Siyu, just the way she was able to get to the basket and set the tempo of the game. And I thought she was really instrumental in pushing the ball and making sure. And that's where the Chinese team looked really good. When they got a couple of good rebounds and outlet passes to players streaming down the court, that's when they really had the momentum go their way. And then Australia was able to slow that down, which they need to do. But both teams are doing a good job of getting their feet in the paint, penetrating, going downhill, doing it aggressively, and forcing rotations.
完了，你现在大哥上如果大哥上可以4-2，完了那个击脚下也可以击脚1-2-3，知道吧？完了你这边利用掩护直接往上跑，那个投篮机会出发。
Get away from her and then just drop it in the pocket and get a layup. Okay, cool with that? Right? Then if they pull off glass, just throw it back. It's a free. Right?
Well, China have had the wood on Australia in recent games. They played at the World Championships here 9 months ago in a semi-final, and China won by 2. They won by 18 at the Asia Cup in 2021 and by 2 points in a thrill at the Olympics in Tokyo in 2021. If you scan the QR code on your screen, you can download Courtside 1891 from the App Store or Google Play. You can watch every game here live, keep up the latest news, all the stats that you need, not just from this tournament, but from all FIBA tournaments. Check it out. Gold medal game tomorrow and the bronze medal game. Just $3. You can watch both of those. So get set to go on the second half. Australia with the possession arrow. Wang Siyu is starting the second half.
This game is still absolutely up for grabs. Gold medal game is the end prize.
Australia back to their original starting 5. That's the captain, Tess Madgett. Down low, couldn't find a shot, so she hands off to Scherf, and that's a great start for Australia.
Scherf went to the exact right spot as Madgen penetrated. She went to the correct receiver spot. Madgen knew she'd be there.
Young Li Wei. Li Meng takes on Koenig, bounces into Garvin. Foul is going to be called on Australia. Free throws to come here. The foul's on Darcy Garvin. It's going to be her third personal foul. Already Froling has 3 and sits down. So we can look at Lauren Scherf knocking down the shot. In fact, a foul has been called on the floor, so we start from the baseline. Han Shu. Gao. Lee. Outside. Good ball movement to young Li Wei. Can't convert. Han Shu height over the back of Scherf to keep it alive. And Maddie Rochi did well there to force a jump ball. Possession arrow is with China.
Good defensive rotations by the Australian coming out in this second half.
Maddie Rochi just reading what was going to happen and shut down Gao Song. So 11 on the shot clock for Gao to restart. The other starter, Zhang Ru, picked up 3 fouls in the first quarter. Haven't seen her since. Wang gets it from Han Shu. Shot clock to 4. Li Meng going to fire over Koenig. Couldn't get it done. Well done, Maddie Rochi, and a good contest there with Wang. And now a foul called on Wang Siyu. Going to be her second personal. Quick substitution coming here for Australia inside the first minute of the third quarter. Annalie Maley's going to check in for Darcy Garvin with that third personal.
There's been a lot of contact between the point guards as they're moving the ball and bringing it up the floor.
Madgen combines with Koenig. Now found an opening down low, but there is Han Shu. Block shot once more.
She does a great job of keeping her spacing and then using her length to time that. You know, it looked like Madgen was wide open there for a split second until that long arms came through.
Rochi, it's it back from Scherf. Shot clock to 10. Koenig fires. Couldn't get it to go. Young Li Wei grabs the rebound. Got numbers in support up the floor quickly as well. Han Shu, they want a low catch down here for Gao, who got up the floor quickly, couldn't convert. Too big for Koenig though, but she couldn't get the job done. It was Maley who went down. So Australia catch a break, and again at the start of the quarter, China just with their offensive problems. 90 seconds done, yet to add to their halftime tally. As Koenig exploring. Down to the baseline, tough shot, but she puts Australia back in front.
Alice Koenig is continuing for where she left off in that second quarter, being assertive on the offense. There she sees, gets a rebound as well.
Wang Siyu was ambitious with that attempt. So they're still looking for their first score in the third quarter, and Australia has retaken the lead. Rochi for Koenig, exploring, fires. Put it short, and Gao grabs the rebound. Li Meng gets beyond Madgen, confronted by Maley. Wang Siyu against Rochi, who reaches in and slaps it away from her. Now they get it to Li Meng down low against Maley. 4 on the shot clock, and an offensive foul is called on Li Meng. First personal, it was a late whistle, and she's not happy.
I'd like to see that in replay because it was a late whistle. It's like she had turned and already made her move and shot it, and then the whistle went.
Here it is in replay. So she got away, and they're just using the elbow, and it was called an offensive foul. And Maley stoked about that, wearing one for the team as well. Alice Koenig is getting it done at the offensive end. So Australia on top by 1 here. Almost 3 minutes played in this quarter, and China hasn't scored as yet. As Koenig takes on Li Meng and draws another foul on Li Meng. Going to be her second personal. That's intelligent work from Alice Koenig. She knew that Li was upset, a little frustrated, so she invited the contact.
It's so good to see Alice Koenig back wearing the Australian singlet. We haven't seen a lot of her lately. She's played a lot of basketball overseas, and now we're getting a showcase of what she can exactly do.
Couldn't finish it there, but the error from Lual Sinyu, who reeled in the rebound and lost control of it.
So things just aren't going China's way. They just have to see how they can respond to this. They have to stay positive. Still a long ways to go. It's a one-point game.
China none of 5 from the field since half-time. Scherf takes on the shorter Lee Monk, feeds Rochi, works inside. Nice feed, Maley finishing touches, overcooked it from close range. Wow, with it now, Wang Siyu. Hence Rochi, Han Shu. Picks up the dribble. Lee Monk against Scherf. Nothing on offer. Outside shot comes from Gao, and it's taken 3.5 minutes, but they finally break the drought in the third.
Good poise by Lee Mong just to recognize that she didn't have the shot, but one extra pass to her teammate, and she was wide open.
Koenig pulls up off glass, and there's a whistle on the play here, and Lee Mong has collided with Annalie Maley, and the foul is going to be called on Lee Mung. So that's 3 fouls here in this third quarter in the space of 4 minutes on one of their stars. She's going to check out of the game. This is the finish coming from Gao, first score in the game. And Lee Mung goes to the bench, having picked up those 3 quick fouls at 7 points at half-time. So that's a win for Australia with her sitting down. Maley for Madgen, shot clock to 10. Drawn Han Shu out of a comfort zone, but the recovery is good. Madgen needs help now. 3 on the shot clock. Scherf decides to fire, couldn't finish it. Gao grabs the rebound. Quick outlet for Wang. Got Lual in support, confronted by Rochi though. And Rochi doing a great job of harassing her. Han Shu. Whistle on the play. Continuation is there. Chance at a 3-point play for China.
And that's what you need to do if a player is all over you. You've got to get, it's like a give and go. If she's overplaying you, then backdoor cut. Nice find by her teammate. Good pass, good finish.
2 of 2 from the free throw line so far in the game. Wang Siyu, 3 of 3 coming into the game. So she is reliable from the strike.
It is an arm wrestle out there. It is physical. Neither team are finding any real ascendancy.
China have scored the last 5. Back in front by that number. Rochi needs help. Scherf defers. Here's the captain, Madgen. Shot clock to 2. Madgen. Scherf rolls to the hoop from close range. She just can't get it done at the offensive end. 3 of 11 from the field now for Lauren Scherf, and she's had some good looks. As Jin shares it again with Gao. And now back to Wong. Down low. Maley wrestling down low with Gao is going to be called for the foul. It's going to be Maley's 2nd personal, 3rd team foul on Australia in this quarter. China has 4 team fouls in this term.
You can just see the desperation on both players' faces. Annalise playing in that 4 spot and has a really tough job with the physicality and the strength and the height.
So Heel and Nicholson check in. Madgen and Rochi sit down. It's been a hectic first 5 minutes since half-time, and the seesawing affair continues. Australia were in front momentarily, but China got it back on their terms. Well, that's single digits on the shot clock here. They look inside. Han Shu against Scherf, forced to the foul line, and it was a tough shot. Well done, Lauren Scherf. So China on the retreat. He walks the ball up the floor, gets it from Koenig. Working against Wang Siyu. Maley will be looking to pass or penetrate. Koenig, 5 on the shot clock for Australia. Alice Koenig goes on with it. Wraparound pass for Scherf. Active hands. Good defensive pressure provided there by Lual. And she feeds Jin. Offense is drying up for the Opals. Gao strong against Kunik. Dishes outside. Jin. Hanshu for the triple.
Yes, that's what she does. She did 2 of those in the first half, right on the buzzer at halftime. And there she goes again. She has been absolutely reliable from three-point land.
9 unanswered points from China in the space of 2 minutes has turned this around from an Australian lead to an equal game-high 8-point advantage for China. Han Xu is showing us why she has been the dominant player right throughout this tournament.
Right, that's okay again. If she pops back, next person stunting, right? So we can try and make her think twice, right? But again, offensively, it's all right. Just, again, once we get to that 8 seconds, right, it's quick ball movement, straight line penetration. We've got to try and get some feet in the paint. I know it's physical, right, but again, shoulders on hips, see if we can get in the paint and create from there, right? Let's go 1-up split, right? Now, Keely, when you get it here, right, I want Al, you'll be the player coming out of the corner, right, so you'll be there, right? Shy, throw it here. Now, cut there, Alice, right? Males, you'll be here, right? Shy, you pop. Keely, hand it off to her, and then Maylee and Keely go and set a double stagger for Alice. Okay. Right, so cut into here, hand it back to Shy. If you can turn the corner to it. If not, Alice is coming off double stagger. Here we go.
Well, you heard Coach Shannon Seabaugh mention the physicality in there. You've got to beware that every time you come on the court, no matter who you're guarding, what time of the game it is, there is going to be physicality. It's at both ends of the court. It's even the when you're playing defense, but offensively they're getting bumped, they're getting pushed, and it's both teams. It's a high quality game, but very physical.
14 points, 9 boards for Han Xu. She's had a double-double in every game leading up to this semi-final. As Hill uses Froling. She's back on the floor with those 3 fouls. Charlie Hill retreating away from 1CU. Kunik was open initially, wanted to pass. Froling back to Hill, shot clock to red numbers. Hill needs to fire and does, but he's off the mark. Well done, Froling. Offensive rebound in traffic, tries to release the ball, whistle on the play. Free throws to come now for Keely Froling as the foul is called on 1CU. That's her 3rd personal, so that presents an interesting conundrum for the coach. Here's Keely Froling in traffic, as you can see, earning a trip to the free throw line. She gets there more than any other Australian player. She's 21 of 24 from the stripe and 88% coming into this game.
Well, as you mentioned, Wang Suyu just leaving the court with those foul count, and in comes Li Yuan to replace her. As Keely Froling makes that first basket.
Only Australian not to take a 3-point attempt in the tournament as well. Froling can't get the back end. Well, the margin is 7 inside the last 4 minutes of the 3rd quarter. Li Yuan gets it back from Gao. Chinese fans making their voice heard as well. Han Xu guarded by Froling with 3 fouls. This is Lua. Red numbers on the shot clock. She fires, can't connect. Hill the rebound, did well. So stop for Australia now. They need some points at the other end. They've scored just 5 points here in this 3rd quarter, and we've played almost 7 minutes. Hill works to an opening. And good rim protection from Han Xu. This is Kunik to the baseline. Nice. Margin cut to 5. Terrific contest. Trust you're enjoying our coverage around Australia, through China and the rest of the world as well. It's the Women's Asia Cup. World number 2 and the world number 3. Toe to toe. Here's Li Yuan. It's off the mark. Well done, Garvin. Grabs the rebound. So another stop for Australia and a chance to edge a little closer. Garvin. The heel. Being good with it. Kunik. Looked off the D. Got them off balance. Helps herself to 2 more.
We talked about no one from either team was really standing out, but now it is Alice Kunik She is all about what is happening with the opals, how she is scoring, and the intensity that she's playing at. And Shyla Heal's doing a great job of getting her the ball at the right time, right spot as well.
She has 6 of Australia's 9 in this third quarter, a game-high 16 points for Alice Koenig.
进阶了以后换大个要帮你防了，你要去铲小个啊，要去铲小个。完了那个进攻，进攻打个5下，啊，打个5下，完了把这个掩护做好，啊，你先往里摆脱，往里摆脱，完了手递手出来，啊，完了你下去，你来接球，把这个掩护做好，啊，如果他收，那我们就背掩。 啊！你在应对压力的时候把这个球传好，如果他封得很紧，你就1打1了啊！1打1坚决的，不要运2次，运1次就够啊！防守啊！
So China trying to weather the storm here. Alice Koenig has been so impressive. As you mentioned, we haven't seen a lot of her in Australia lately, Laurie, but she's a championship winner in the Women's National Basketball League here back as far as 2011, and the only player who played in the 2017 Asia Cup campaign where we won a silver medal. She's also won bronze in a 3x3 tournament back in 2012 at the World Cup, a Commonwealth Games gold medalist, highly decorated, and she and Tess Madgen, as the 2 senior players in this team, have been outstanding. Madgen last night, Koenig tonight. Lau hands over, Pung. Skip pass, Li Yuan takes on Hill, contact and a whistle. Shyla Heal will pick up her first personal, 4th team foul on Australia in this quarter.
Good decision by Li Yuan to punch it in on the closeout. Shyla wasn't quite in position and was able to draw the foul from her.
A little over 2 minutes out from 3/4 time. Li Yuan, Pun, Han Shu. Deep 3. Done it again.
Thank you very much. 4 for 4 now for Han Shu from the 3-point line.
That snaps a 5-0 run from Australia. Han Shu, 17 to lead all scores. What a finish from Shyla Heal. 7 in the game now for her. And whistle on the play. Li Yuan dribbling into traffic, drawing contact. So free throws to come for China here as we get another look at Shyla Heal.
Such an outstretched arm to finish that shot off because she had to go over the defense of Han Shu.
First trip to the free throw line for Li Yuan tonight. Perfect 2 of 2 coming into this game.
And we talk about foul shots being so important in close games, and both these teams are very proficient from the foul line. 84% for China and 80% for Australia.
Li Yuan makes both. One of 7 Olympians from Tokyo in this Chinese team. Australia has 1. Heal gets it from Garvin. 90 seconds left in this third quarter. China over the limit in terms of fouls as well. As Heal feeds Garvin. Got a good look, but it's well short. And Barcy Garvin can't convert. Just 2 points since quarter time for her. The margin is 6, minute 22 on the clock.
We say it, but these last minute and 22 is key for both teams. The Australian team doesn't want that lead to extend out, and obviously for China, they want to see if they can get that little bit of a buffer going into the fourth quarter.
Well done, Han Shu, to retrieve that. Zhang Ru back on the floor for the first time since the opening quarter when she picked up 3 fouls from close range. Pun comes up with the goods.
Very timely, that shot by Peng Zhongxi.
Inside the last 60 seconds of the third. 16-11 is the equation in this quarter. 3-point halftime lead is out to 8. Koenig. Spin back to the left-hand side. She was shut down. Love that from Pun.
She stayed attached on Alice Koenig as she was dribbling under the basket. But here we see this nice drive and finish. Little spin move.
4 on the shot clock for Australia. Trolling with it, forces away inside. It wouldn't work from close range. None of 4 from the field now for Froling, and from close range, it's Zhang Ru who opens her scoring account. Biggest lead of the game.
That last minute 22 has been absolutely crucial for China. They have extended their lead.
Shot clock, 8 seconds inside the game clock. Momentum with China. Kunik exploring, lost it under pressure. Ball trickles out of court. Australia has 3.9 on the shot clock. Zhang Ru gets her first score in the game. As they did in the second, China warming up late in the quarter. Shyla Hill tried to restart off the Yuan off her back when she wasn't looking. The ball trickles out of court. So Australia now with 1.6 on the shot clock. I think they're going to check that. Make the adjustment. Referees confer about it as well. Shannon Seabohm was all over it. He was straight up to the scorer's bench. Referees from Indonesia, Thailand and Singapore in charge of this game. Just until they work out their plan, they're asking substitution to remain. China look as though they're going to make a substitution here with 10 seconds out from three-quarter time. Australia
ball, 3 seconds in the shot clock.
Will have 3 on the shot clock. Shyla Hill to restart. They want Kunik involved. She was shut down. Baseline, tough shot from Garvin. Came up empty, and now China looking for the last save. Li Yuan. Hill ripped it from her. Li Yuan, that's after the event. And three-quarter time arrives, and it's the biggest lead of the game, with a spot in the gold medal game at the Asia Cup up for grabs. At three-quarter time in the semi-final, it's China 53, Australia 43. Although able to have the better of that third quarter, 18 points to 11 is the equation in that quarter. How did they do that, Laurie?
Well, I look at the three-point shooting of China, 39%, and they're averaging over the course of the tournament 30%. So they are shooting the ball. We asked that question at the start of the game. Can their guards, can their bigs shoot the ball from outside, as we've seen from Han Chu? But nice timing on a block there from that great drive from Tess Madgen.
And what do the Australians need to do in this last quarter?
Well, I think one thing they have to make sure that they do is not feel that pressure. 10 minutes is a long time, so they've been doing some really good things. I like the way they've moved the ball. I think it would be good if Lauren Scherf could get a little bit more involved. She's had a quiet start, only 6 or quiet 3 quarters, 6 for the game. And if she could come out and be instrumental in this last quarter, put some scoreboard pressure on China, that would be a good result. But right now, China really they're controlling the tempo. They're controlling the physicality of this game, and the refs were calling a few things, but even the coach Shannon Seabohm mentioned it. It's physical out there. We have to contend with that.
And of course, having Han Chu is a massive advantage for them as well. She had 6 of their 18 in that third quarter. She has 17 points overall to lead all scorers. Alice Kunik with 16 is leading Australia at the moment.
Alice Kunik has been really impressive in what she does. She's just been going hard every time she moves on the court. And that's what they have to continue to do. Every movement has to be with purpose. You have to cut with purpose. You have to cut with a scorer's mentality so that the defense has to go with you. And it might open it up. You might not be open, but you might get your teammate open.
So we get set to go here in the final quarter. Winner to move through to the gold medal game tomorrow in less than 24 hours against Japan, who was super impressive a little earlier, defeating New Zealand by 26 points. 88-52 was the equation there. Australia with a possession arrow, but down 10 in The fourth quarter is underway. Rochi, Madgen, baseline, looking for a passing lane. Drew Hanshu away from the cup. Rochi, red numbers on the shot clock now, muscles in close, tough shot. Good D again from China. Li Yuan in traffic, got the ball to Pan, eventually Hanshu shut down, well done Sherp. This is Zhang Ru going to work, couldn't make it fit. Still they leave Li Meng on the bench here after those 3 fouls she picked up in quick succession. Scherf for Koenig with a pass knocked down. China giving Australia no peace at all. Li Yuan. Harassed by Madgen, works baseline, opened up the key, finishing touches from Zhang Ru. So game high 12-point lead now in favour of China. Madgen penetrates, kicks outside. Garvin back to Rochi, but they cannot unlock the defensive pressure from China at the moment. Garvin, she's off the mark.
Well, that's exactly right, John. You look and you'd be happy if you were keeping China to 55 points at this stage of the game. But the fact they've only scored 43 themselves just is a testament to the sort of defense that China is playing.
Jin with it, hands over, Zhang Ru, and they get it back to Li Yuan. Shot clock in red numbers. Baseline, tough shot, couldn't finish it. Tap there from Pan was good. They kept it alive, and they make Australia pay. Game high, 15-point lead now in favour of China. They've scored 14 points to 2, bracketed across three-quarter time to turn this game their way. Rochi trying to draw contact, takes them on, gets it done. Big play, Matty Rochi. Chance at a three-point play.
Earlier on in the game, when Australia had success, it was when they were moving the ball more quickly. I feel like right now there's some two-man game action happening, but everybody else is very standing, and therefore China is able to help off and make reads. I think there needs to be a little bit more movement, player and ball movement. Shift the defense.
Matty Rochi makes the extra. They haven't been able to get to the free throw line, Australia. Took just 6 free throws in the first 3 quarters.
Let's come out with a zone right now, Australia, to try and do something different.
China break it down. Pan puts the finishing touches on and draws a foul to go to the stripe.
That's a sign of a well-coached team when they can switch from man-to-man to zone and offense not even miss a beat.
They've had the answers. Pan Zhenxi goes to the free throw line. First time to the free throw line in the tournament for her. She calmly makes the extra. They're back to 15. 7.5 to play. Rochi, Scherf, did well to corral that. Wasn't really expecting it, the timing. Now Madgen down low. Forced into a tough shot. Good pressure there from Jin. Right now, China have got this well and truly on their terms. Hanshu, 4 double-doubles. She's done it in every game of the tournament. She'll be in the All-Star 5 and she's looking like the MVP at the moment. Li Yuan penetrating, decides to fire, couldn't finish it. And Australia come up with their Rochi. Has Koenig working hard for her. The teammates get there now. Scherf against Hanshu, takes her on. Nice finish, terrific work from Lauren Scherf.
We haven't seen much of that from her tonight. I mean, I know she's intimidating, but you know, you've got to try and get her in a little bit of foul trouble too.
Hanshu yet to commit a foul. Li Yuan was open in front and back of the rim, jumped out. And now Alice Koenig will feed Rochi. Little over 6 minutes left on the clock. Australia down 13. Need a high percentage play here. Rochi, no passing lane to Scherf. Magin. Shot clock rolls to 5. Magin for Scherf. They were patient. Well, Koenig just took her eye off the pass, and the shot clock's going to expire on Australia.
When Lauren Scherf did the hard work to get inside, she needs to go to work out there. She needs to try, to kick it out as the shot clock's expiring, putting her pressure on her teammate to make a shot like that. Go to work yourself. See if you miss it, maybe you can get an offensive rebound.
Turnover number 11 for Australia, second in this term. Credit China. They've turned the ball over just 7 times. They had 3 of those in the opening quarter. So despite the pressure from Australia, they have looked after the ball incredibly well. And they look strong right now as Jin opens her scoring account. Game high 16-point lead, but only momentarily as Australia come up with the answer. So they reached the half century, Australia. Came in averaging 88 a game. Middle stages of this final quarter. Off the mark. Scherf did well. Keep that alive for Australia. Now Rochi. Scherf rolling to the hoop. Needs help. Garvin. Rochi gets a good look. And she knocks down the 3. Margin cut to 11. China want timeout here. Just under 5 minutes left on the clock, and Australia rolling the dice one more time. Get back to within 11.
Still lots of time, 5 minutes. That's a good series of play, but number 8, Jin, just hitting that shot against the zone.
So 11-10 is the equation in favour of China here in this last quarter. Maintaining Australia at arm's length.
下一次再一个续啊，完了你站上，你站这儿，对吧？你站这儿，这样李梦就走下面，你就走上面。这个球看有机会打进去，完了你就在中锋投篮，啊，完了这样的话，小潘你要往里走，对吧？你没有投篮，你就看一下李梦的啊，看一下李梦，哎，坚持防守啊，因为他输分，所以他投3分投得很坚决，球们一定要到位啊，不要侥幸啊。
We have only one team foul. 我们只有一次团队犯规，轻一点，没事，1防1没关系，别让他们轻易投3分。
Well, they've been impressive, China. They've hit 9 threes at 41%, coming in at just 30%. They've improved there, and they've restricted Australia to 4 of 14 from deep at 29%. In Australia, well, they were shooting the 3 ball at 40% coming in here, 3rd best in the tournament. So that's a big turnaround.
It's a real flipping stats, if he asks me, from that 3-point line.
Margin is 11. Big crowd in attendance at the State Sports Centre here in Sydney. And Maddie Rochi's going to be called for the foul here. It's going to be her 2nd personal. 2nd team foul on the Opals only in this quarter. China with just 1 team foul so far in this last quarter. But we're inside the last 5 minutes.
And the experience of Wang Suyu running the point now, that's what they need. Oh, just lost vision on the back of that zone.
13-point edge, 4.5 to play. China just breaking down Australia. Shyla Hill in tandem with Rochi at the moment. Now Scherf, she found a passing lane. Scherf couldn't get it done from close range. They come up empty, and Wang Suyu looking for support, picks up the dribble with problems. Han Shu gets to her now. Back to Wang Suyu against Hill, who knocks the ball down. Good defensive pressure from Australia. Shot clock at red numbers, but again they find an opening, and Jin for the finishing touches. The timeout Australia now as the margin grows once more. The pun, she has found openings.
Well, that's it. It's not only the way that the margins ballooned out by a little bit, it's just the way the last two scores have been so relatively easy. Movement off the ball and losing vision.
Maddie, right? So throw it to Darcy, right? Keela, you're going to flash to here to get the ball, right? Alice, follow her in, right? Once she catches it, you're sprinting up to set a back pick for Shy, right? We're looking at that for a layup, right? And then Darce, as soon as you pass it, come and screen Alice's player, right? And you're coming off both for it, right? Try and catch it inside the three, pitch handoff for a three, right? If we don't have it, twist the ball screen, spread, right? Hey, we're back to man here, right? Hey, the next pick and roll, let's track, right? Just one time.
Well, desperate times for the Opals now. 4:04 to play, down 15. Loser of this game will play off the bronze tomorrow against New Zealand. Australia has won the bronze medal the previous two Asia Cups, defeating Korea in 2021. In fact, in both occasions, in 2021 and 2019. This is their fourth campaign at the Asia Cup, along with New Zealand. Kiwis through to their first medal playoff. Australia into the semi-finals 4 straight times as Shyla Hill comes up the floor, but under pressure. Wanted Garvin. There wasn't really room for the pass. Garvin has to go and retrieve it. Here's Froling against Han Shu. Koenig rejected. Block shot from Han Shu. So a third block to go with 17 points and 13 rebounds. It'll be no surprise our TCL player of the game is read out at the final buzzer.
And she's ticking more and more boxes for the MVP of the whole tournament.
One CU baseline against Rochi. Tough shot, couldn't get it done. Ball knocked down out of court there by Hanshu, but off an Australian hand. She has been everywhere. She stood between Australia and success in this game, and they have found her unable, or have not been able to find a way. Shyla Hill picks up the foul, her second personal, third team foul on Australia in this quarter.
Well, I know Australia have a very different team to what they had in the World Cup, only 3 players here returning. But in that game, that 2-point game, 61-59 towards China, Han Shu had 19 points and 11 rebounds.
Shot clock to single numbers. Just one CU in traffic double. Look at Froling and Rochi go to work. Position arrow with China, so they'll get it back.
And that's exactly the instructions from Coach Seabond, that when they came off any pick and roll, let's trap aggressively.
Tick over 3 minutes left on the clock. One CU about to restart. Li Meng against Koenig. Heel wrestling down low. And well done, Garvin, to come up with the ball. Here's Rochi running. Step back 2. Just couldn't finish it. Australia's shooting problems. Just 37% from the field. The foul here is going to be called on Maddie Rochi, so that's her third personal. You can see there. Alice Koenig checks out of the game, 16 points. Rochi was 10. Is the only other player in double figures for the Opals. Inside 3 minutes to play. Chinese fans starting to find voice as well. Foul on Shyla Hill, so free throws to come now. Australia over the limit. They pick up their 20th foul of the game. China has 13. And this has been a very professional display.
Well, this is going to be a really entertaining, interesting gold medal game.
I've got a tremendous history. China and Japan. I mentioned Japan have won the last 5 Asia Cups, but prior to that, China won 5 of the previous 6.
You're going to call it history. I'm going to call it a fierce rivalry.
Here's Froling from close range, and Keely Froling comes up with her first field goal in the game. At the other end, 1. Well, she makes it work as well.
That just shows the experience of her, the leadership, the quality of player that she is.
Hill gets it from Maley. 11, 2 minutes out from full time. Goes on with the dribble. Shoot. Rejects another shot. She's having a block party of her own there. 4 blocks for her. This is Keely Froling finally being able to find an opening down low. Nicholson takes it from Hill, puts it on the deck herself. Wants Froling once more. Forced into a tough shot again. The defensive presence of Han Shu was telling. Maley collides with Li Meng, not for the first time in the game, as the ball trickles out of court. So a little over 2 minutes on the clock here. Pressure up the floor from Australia. The young Li Wei, captain of China, brings them forward. Li Meng. Han Shu back to Li Meng. Shot clock at 7. Look away pass. They got it into Han Shu in a travelling violation. Great defensive play from Anneli Maley. A rare win for Australia at the defensive end when they're taking on the colossus that is Han Shu.
Well, Coach Young is persevering with her stars, some of her stars on the court right now, with a game to come tomorrow against the almighty Japanese team. Great pass, nice finish by Keely Froling.
Margin at 15, 90 seconds to play. Young Li Wei. An offensive foul is now going to be called. It's the first foul in the game on Han Shu. Moving screen. A chance for Australia. What they're chasing here at the moment is try and avoid their lowest ever score at the Asia Cup, which at the moment sits at 64. Froling. Drawing a foul. 3rd team foul on China in this quarter. And it's a 4th personal foul on 1CU. Surprisingly started on the bench. And substitution is going to be made here. And Pun will sit down, replaced by Zhang Ru. Pun sits down with 9 points to her name. Close to her tournament high of 10. Froling orders Maley away, wants Nicholson. Single digits on the shot clock here for the Opals. Rochi. Red numbers now for the Australians. Rochi's lost the handle again. It was the pressure from 1CU, who feeds young Li Wei, and the Chinese captain adds another 2.
And that's the way they played in the first quarter, and they are still doing it with a minute left in the 4th quarter. Good answer by Shyla Hill.
She's had a good game, Shyla Hill. Now, young Li Wei, the captain's gone down clutching her left knee here, and it does not look good. So they're going to check to see if that was a 3 or a 2, the shot from Shyla Hill. She's up to 12 points on 2 or 3 shooting from deep, but this looks serious when young Li Wei, the way that she grimaced once she hit the deck.
Let's hope it's nothing serious. She's the captain of the team.
They're going to carry her off. Peng Yu, her teammate, taking her off the floor. And this is the last thing that you want to see in the last 35 seconds of the semi-final. Substitutions are going to be made. Han Shu will sit down, prepare her MVP speech. It's been a terrific display once more. 17 points, 15 boards.
And we have to remember, we feel like she's so much older than she is because she's been around forever, but Han Shu is just 23 years old. She's got so much of her career left, so much upside to her, and she's only going to keep getting better.
I agree. It's incredible. She played at the World Cup in 2018, was part of the Olympic team in Tokyo, averaged 9 points, 8 rebounds against the best in the world there. 12 and 8 at the World Cup here last year in Sydney as they went all the way to the final. Wang Siyu resumes a battle with Shyla Hill. Shane's can't afford to foul. Shot clock works to 5 and the pass off the mark. And Lauren Nicholson escorts it out of court. So 30 seconds to play. A chance for Australia. They're down 14. They started this quarter down 4. They've had their moments leading in the first quarter, leading again at the start of the third, and they came out of halftime full of energy. Here's Maley going on with it, baseline, took the hit, couldn't complete it, went after the rebound, and that foul's going to be called on Maddie Rocci. Going to be her 4th personal, and some free throws for China now. She was really, her endeavour was for the ball, but the collision was inevitable. And a 4th personal for Maddie Rocci. Foul number 21 on the Australians. China has 15 in that category and walk to the free throw line now.
Well, now that we think ahead to the gold medal game, you think of the speed and the ferocity of defense that the Japan team plays. Now, are we going to see the same from China? Is it going to be both ways? How are they going to contend? It'll be fascinating, the gold medal game.
Yes, and certainly some spice in the bronze medal game as well, as Australia and New Zealand resume their rivalry. It's been a titanic arm wrestle right from the start. Well, Australia missed the rebound and presents an opportunity again now for China. Shot clock and game clock almost in unison here. Wang Siyu takes them on, wanted to draw a foul, couldn't get a whistle. Jin fires, that's off the mark. Well done, Maley. Oh, unfortunately, after crashing the boards, the ball spills out of her hands and out of court, and China are going to get it back. But it's all academic. In less than 24 hours, Zheng Wei and her Chinese team are coming back to face Japan once more for the Asia Cup gold medal. Wang on the buzzer, off the mark, but China has restricted Australia to their lowest ever Asia Cup score, and it prevailed in the semi-final here by 14 points. China goes to the gold medal game with a 14-point victory over Australia. Full-time in Sydney, it's China 74, Australia 60. Full credit to China. They were challenged early, they looked nervous, they couldn't score for 4.5 minutes at the start of the game, but they were stronger the longer the game went, Laurie Chiswick.
They did, and they weathered any storm that Australia pushed at them or threw at them, and they did that multiple times where they got a sort of a 10-point lead and Australia would fight back and get it back to 2, and so that's a sign of a good team that doesn't panic. They can stay calm, they can stick to their game plan, and you can just see the jubilation on their faces as they know, well, you know they're going to medal one way or the other, but they're not going to be happy with silver. They want to take away that 6-title streak from Japan.
It's the 4th straight time that China and Japan are going head-to-head in the Asia Cup gold medal game, and well, it really has been an exciting time every time they clash. The last time in 2021 in the final, it was a 5-point win for Japan. And then it was 3 points prior to that in Bangalore in 2019. Australia played in the final against Japan, and it was a 1-point thriller in 2017. So invariably the final, with so much on the line, is a tight contest. And for the Australians, well, not at their best, but certainly take nothing away from China, because they didn't allow Australia to play at their best.
Well, we talked about it at one stage, the flip-flop of the three-point shooting. So China shot the three ball at 38%. So their guards brought that to the game, and they were very instrumental. And Australia had come into this game shooting 40%, but just weren't able to match it. They just looked a little bit tentative, and I think that's full credit to China and how they made them play. It was physical, we know. It was fast. Certainly China, every time there was an opportunity, they pushed the ball with ease, and they looked like they just had control of the game sooner than Australia, and Australia was always just chasing that little bit behind, and that takes a lot of energy.
Yes, Australia are able to put themselves in front in the third quarter, just out of half-time, taking the lead there, but from that point on, China asserted their dominance and were able to get it done the way that they liked. And no matter what the Australians threw at them, China's team had the answers, largely due to Han Xu, who has finished with 17 points, 15 rebounds, and confirmation of today's results, Korea defeating the Philippines. Japan too strong for New Zealand in the first semi-final, and China 14-point winners over Australia. So Japan, China in the final, New Zealand, Australia to clash for the bronze medal. Korea finishing in 5th position. So this has been a terrific display from China. They came here what I thought was a little vulnerable. They didn't look at their best, but they have been able to work their way through to the final. And Han Xu is delighting the crowd at the moment as she accepts the Player of the Game award. And how about her performance? In this game, it was 17 points, 15 rebounds. On Wednesday night, it was 33 and 11 rebounds. In game 2, it was 17 points, 13 rebounds. On opening night, 17 points, 10 rebounds. A double-double, 4 straight games. So a terrific display by China, who moved through to the gold medal game against Japan. They'll have big support here, a sellout crowd tomorrow, and we hope you can join us as well here in Sydney. For now, though, on behalf of Laurie Chiswick, my co-commentator, and our hard-working crew behind the scenes, I'm John Casey. It's China 74, Australia 60, which leads to a gold medal showdown between China and Japan. See you tomorrow.